Good morning, students. Let us begin the third chapter now, properties of the natural resources. This chapter we will study three natural resources: air, water, and soil. Now let us begin first with the properties of the air. Now let's recall which are the gases which are present in the air and why is air called a homogeneous mixture. Now the gases which are present in the air are nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and inert gases. Now why is air called a homogeneous mixture? Because the constituents of the air cannot be distinguished from each other. Means these gases, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, inert gases, they cannot be distinguished from each other in the air, and so air is a homogeneous mixture. Now what our next question is, what are the uses of the various gases in air? All of you know we use oxygen for breathing, nitrogen and carbon dioxide in the air, it is used by the plants. Plants use carbon dioxide for process of photosynthesis, and the nitrogen in the air, it is converted into its compounds which is used as a fertilizer by the plants. Now next we will see the properties of the air. Now air is all around us. We cannot see it, yet we can feel the presence of the air. When we inhale, air is taken in through the nose. If we blow our hands through our lips, we can feel air. Now here are some activities with the help of which we have to learn the properties of the air. Now in the first activity here, take one straw or the stick of the broom you take and tie two balloons at the two ends, and at the center of the straw you tie one thread and see that the straw is horizontal. Now take out one balloon and inflate it and again stick back to the straw or the stick. What do we observe? We see that the stick goes down on the side of the inflated balloon. So this means that the air has weight. The balloon is filled with the air and so its weight has increased, and so the side of the stick towards which the inflated balloon is tied, it goes down. So thus the first property of the air can be concluded from this activity, that air has mass and weight. Now for understanding the second property of the air, take a injection syringe without the needle. Pull its piston and observe it as you do so. When one end of when the piston can be pulled easily out, then it remains in that position even if you let it go. Now in the next what you do, the inlet hole of the syringe, it is tightly closed with the help of thumb, and the piston is moved and the piston and let the piston go. The force required to pull the piston, it will be more than before, and the piston, it will not go, the piston, it will go back to its position when you let it go. Now what's the reason for this? Now the molecules of the gases in the air, we know they are in constant motion. So when these molecules strike the body, they create a pressure on that body. So this is the pressure of the air that we call as the atmospheric pressure. So in this activity here, on pulling the piston with the inlet of the hole of the syringe closed, more space becomes available to the air in the syringe and it becomes rarefied. As a result, the pressure of the air in the syringe is lowered. Comparatively, the pressure of the outside air is very high, and that is why when we pulled out piston is released, it is immediately pushed in, If this experiment is repeated holding the syringe in different positions like vertical, horizontal or the piston the piston is found to go into the same extent in all the cases. So from this we can say that the atmospheric pressure is same in all direction. So what is the second property of the air that we have concluded from this activity? That air exerts pressure. So the first property of the air is what? Air has mass and weight. And second property is what? Air exerts atmospheric pressure. Now the next question is there any atmospheric pressure on the moon? Or if you know, on the moon there is no air, so there will be no atmospheric pressure on it. Now let us see now. Or if you know that the atmospheric pressure at the sea level, it is about 1,1400 Newton per square meter. It can be measured with the help of a barometer. Now barometer, it is a instrument which is used to measure the atmospheric pressure at the sea level as well as at the different heights from the surface of the earth. So as we go higher above the sea level, the atmospheric pressure decreases. Now what's the reason for this? Because in geography you have learnt as we move up, the air goes on decreasing, and so the atmospheric pressure also decreases. Now here is one Bernoulli's principle which was put up by the Swedish scientist Daniel Bernoulli. He said that the pressure of the air decreases when its velocity increases, while the pressure of the air increases when the velocity decreases. So if a body is moving through the air pressure decreases perpendicular to the direction of motion of the air, and then the air in its surrounding flows rapidly from higher pressure to the lower pressure. Okay, so this is the Bernoulli's principle. What is that principle here? That the pressure of the air decreases when the velocity increases, while the pressure of the air increases when the velocity decreases. So this Bernoulli's principle, it gives you the relation between the pressure of the pressure and the velocity of the air. Now this you can understand with the help of the next activity which is being given over here. Now take some water in a plastic cup and hold a straw upright in it. Now hold a small piece of another straw near the upper end of the first straw and perpendicular to that straw. Now blow hard through the small piece of straw. You will see the fountain of the water. Now why does this happen? Now on blowing the air through this upper straw, what happens here? The air on this vertical straw, it is rarefied, it is moved away. So naturally there the air pressure decreases. Now the air pressure at the bottom of this straw or in the water, it is more. So naturally the water flows from the water at the higher pressure to the lower pressure, and so water is pushed up and it comes out in the form of fountain. So more the air it is blown by this horizontal straw, the fountain will rise to a higher level. So this means that this straw fountain, it works on the Bernoulli's principle. Is that clear to all of you? Okay. Now let us next see what is the effect of the increased temperature on the pressure of the air. Now if the temperature is more, then the pressure will be less. Now what is the reason for this? Because when the air is heated, then the density of the air decreases. So when the density of the air is less, naturally the pressure will also decrease. Now next we will see this one, how this difference in the air pressure at two different places, it causes winds. Now when there exists a pressure in the difference in the air pressure at two different places, the air starts flowing from the place of higher pressure to the place of the lower pressure. At such times, we feel a breeze or a wind blowing. These winds are an effect of the difference in air pressure. So let us learn now this we have learnt in geography how the sea breeze and the land breeze occurs due to the difference in pressure on the surface of the land as well as on the sea. Clear? So now next we will see this one with this activity now. Take some ice cubes in a glass up to the 3/4 of its height. Now observe what happens. Now, how did the water droplets appear on the outside of the glass? Now, due to the ice cubes in the glass, the air surrounding the glass cools down. So, as the water vapor in this air cools down, it condenses and gets transformed into water. It is this water that collects on the outer surface of the glass. Now, the level of the humidity glass, and then that water drops, they trickle down from the surface of the glass. Now all of you know that the level of the humidity, it is different in different places. Similarly, the humidity levels also change from time to time during the period of a single day. Now the level of the humidity of the air is determined by the capacity to hold water vapor. Now during the night or at the dawn, when the temperature of the air is low, its capacity to hold the water vapor is less. So at such times, excess water vapor, it is converted into water droplets, and that is what it is called as the dew. So during winter also, you know that the temperature is very less, so the water holding capacity of the air will be less, and the excess water vapor in the air is converted into dew, and those dew drops you can see on the surface of the leaves of the plant or on the grass. Now in the afternoon, when the temperature of the air is high, the capacity of the air to hold the moisture also increases. Then compared to its full capacity to hold water, the proportion of the moisture in the air is less, and we feel that the air is dry. Now the proportion of the water vapor in the air is high during the monsoons and in the coastal region. As a result, we feel humidity. Now Mumbai, we know it is in the coastal region, so here the capacity, here the humidity is more because the amount of water vapor in the air is more, and so we feel more humid, or we sweat more in Mumbai due to the humidity. Now the next question is asked: in summer, wet clothes dry quickly, but in the rains they do not. Why is this so? Now in summer the temperature is more, so the rate of evaporation is also more. So the water from the wet clothes, it evaporates very fast, and so the water, so the clothes dry quickly. But in rains, what happens? The rate of evaporation is less, and so that is why the clothes do not dry quickly. Now next activity you see here, this one: dip an uncorked inverted empty bottle in the slanting position into the water in a wide container, and what do we observe? Now here see, like this you perform the activity. In a bucket you can take, uncorked bottle you take, and then you try to put that empty bottle in a slanting position into the water. So what we see, the bubbles of the air coming out, and slowly the bottle gets filled with the water. So this shows you what, that the air which is there in the empty bottle, it comes out in the form of bubbles, and that place of the air in the bottle, it is occupied by the water. So till the bottle is completely filled and filled by water, and the air until the air comes out of that bottle, we can see the bubbles coming out into the bucket. So this shows you that here So now next question is, what change takes place in a balloon on feeling air in it? So by feeling air in the balloon, we see that the balloon is inflated due to the air. The shape of the balloon changes. So these two activities above shows that air has the properties like occupying space, it has a certain volume, and also it has mass and weight. Is this clear to all of you now? So what are the properties of the air? Air occupies space, air has certain volume, it has mass and weight, and also it exerts pressure on the body on which it comes in contact. So thus we see that air is also the mixture of fine particles of some gases, dust, smoke, and moisture. So when the rays of light fall on these minute particles, the particles spread the light in all the directions. So this natural phenomena is called as the scattering of light. Is this clear to all of you now? Now next we will see this one, temperature regulation, how it is done. Now the earth receives energy from the sun. So this energy is reflected by the earth in the form of heat. The constituents of the air surrounding the earth, such as water vapor, carbon dioxide, absorb the part of this heat and give it to the other constituents of the air. As a result, the earth's surface remains warm and thereby becomes suitable for a living world on the earth. If there were no air on the earth, the average temperature of the earth's surface would have been very low. Now see here, use your brain power. One question is there, that what would have happened if all the air surrounding us is removed? If all the air surrounding us is removed, then life would not have existed on the earth, because the temperature on the earth would have been very less, and that temperature would not be suitable for the existence of life on the earth. Now will the sound be heard in the space? No, because in the space there is no air, and so the sound cannot be heard. So now next we will see, so thus this shows that the transmission of the sound, it is also due to the air. The density of the air changes due to the change in its temperature. So in winter, the density of the air increases. We can hear the whistle of the distant train clearly early in the morning in winter. So air is useful as a medium for the transmission of sound. So thus we see